Have you ever wondered why some people seem to radiate respect and integrity? The ancient Stoics knew the secret. It's all about mastering a few key habits. In this video, we'll dive into 4 toxic behaviors that not only erode your character, but also sabotage the respect you deserve. Inspired by timeless Stoic wisdom, these habits can be replaced with simple practices to help you live with more integrity, peace, and resilience. Let's explore how Stoicism can transform your relationships and mindset. Let's be real. Gossiping is one of those habits almost everyone indulges in, but no one wants to admit. I used to be a huge gossip, and it took some painful lessons to realize just how damaging it was. In college, gossiping was practically a sport. My friends and I would spend hours dissecting every detail of other people's lives. It felt harmless, even fun at first. It made us feel connected, like we were in on some exclusive secret. But the truth is, gossiping is a toxic habit that can destroy trust and respect, often in ways we don't immediately see. Here's a story I'm not proud of. There was a girl in our group. Let's call her Emily. She was a bit different, quirky, introverted, and didn't always fit in. One day, I found out she had a crush on a guy who was, let's say, way out of her league. Instead of keeping it to myself, I shared it with my friends. We laughed about it, and the story spread like wildfire. When Emily found out, the look on her face was heartbreaking. She stopped hanging around, and eventually, she left the group entirely. At the time, I brushed it off, but deep down, I knew I had crossed a line that should never have been crossed. The Stoics, like Epictetus, teach us to focus on our own character and not meddle in others' affairs. When you gossip, you're not only wasting time, but also poisoning the well of trust. As Epictetus said, keep silence for the most part, and speak only when you must, and briefly. Gossip erodes trust. When you engage in gossip, people start to wonder what you might be saying behind their backs. It creates an environment of suspicion and betrayal, which can be very hard to repair. I learned this lesson again when my own words came back to haunt me. At my first job, I had a coworker, let's call him John, who was diligent but a bit of a loner. I found out through the grapevine that John had a serious health issue. Instead of respecting his privacy, I shared the information with a few colleagues. John found out, and though he didn't confront me angrily, his look of deep hurt was undeniable. He told me he had trusted me to be discreet, but I had broken that trust. That experience taught me a critical lesson: respect people's privacy. Everyone has their battles, and by turning their personal lives into fodder for gossip, you disrespect them and reveal a lack of integrity in yourself. The Stoics believed in uplifting and constructive conversations. Instead of gossiping, focus on positive dialogue that builds people up. Remember, if someone is willing to gossip with you, they're just as likely to gossip about you. Choose your words wisely and aim to be a source of positivity. Now, let's talk about being unreliable. This one hits home for a lot of people and can seriously erode respect. Reliability is foundational in any relationship, whether personal or professional. If people can't count on you, they will lose respect for you, and that can be hard to rebuild. In my early 20s, I was known as the flaky one among my friends. I'd make plans and cancel last minute, or just not show up at all. I thought it was no big deal. Life's busy, right? But one incident opened my eyes and made me realize the impact of my actions. A close friend, Sarah, threw a birthday party she had spent weeks planning. I promised I'd be there, but on the day of the party, I got caught up in something else and didn't go. I didn't bother to let her know until hours after the event had started. When I finally called her, I could hear the disappointment in her voice. Our friendship was never quite the same after that. She stopped inviting me to things, and we drifted apart, which was really heartbreaking. Being unreliable tells people your word means nothing. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you promise to be somewhere, be there. It's about respecting other people's time and effort and showing that you care. Another example is from my professional life. Early in my career, I had a habit of overcommitting and under-delivering. I'd take on projects and then miss deadlines without warning. I thought my charm and excuses would smooth things over, but my boss wasn't amused. During a performance review, she said bluntly, "Your work is good when you do it, but your lack of reliability is a problem. People don't know if they can count on you." It was a wake-up call that I desperately needed. Reliability isn't just about showing up, it's about consistency and integrity. When you commit to something, you put your reputation on the line. Every time you flake out, you chip away at the trust others have in you, and that trust is hard to regain. To fix this, be honest with yourself about what you can and can't do. Don't overcommit. If you make a promise, keep it. Communicate proactively if something comes up and you can't follow through. Show that you value other people's time as much as your own, and you'll see a positive change in your relationships. Interrupting others is a habit that many people do without realizing it. But let's be real. Constantly interrupting is a huge sign of disrespect. It says, "What I have to say is more important than what you're saying." It not only frustrates people, but makes them feel undervalued and unheard. I used to be a chronic interrupter. I thought it showed enthusiasm and intelligence, but in reality, it showed a lack of respect and patience. Here's a story that drove this point home for me. At one of my early jobs, we had weekly brainstorming sessions. I was eager to impress, so I'd constantly jump in with my ideas, often cutting people off mid-sentence. I thought I was being proactive, but my coworkers saw it differently. One day, during an intense meeting, my manager stopped and said bluntly, "You need to let people finish their thoughts. You're not listening. You're just waiting for your turn to speak." It was embarrassing. Interrupting others is more than just rude. It shows a lack of self-control and respect. Listening is more than hearing words. It's about being present and allowing others to express themselves fully. Complaining is another habit that's not only annoying, but also deeply corrosive. It's one thing to vent occasionally, but constant complaining turns you into a negative force that people want to avoid. This habit drains the energy of those around you, leading to lost respect and damaged relationships. It can even affect your own mental health. I used to be a chronic complainer. I thought it was a way to bond with people over shared grievances. But over time, I noticed that people started avoiding me. Conversations grew shorter, and I wasn't invited to hangouts as often. A close friend finally told me, "I love you, but you're becoming really negative. It's exhausting to be around you." That was a wake-up call. That hit hard. The Stoics believed in focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. Complaining keeps you fixated on the negative, affecting your mindset and how others perceive you. It's a sign that you're more focused on problems than solutions, which is not attractive. Instead, focus on what you can change and let go of what you cannot. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Let's strive to live better, more respectful lives. Until next time, stay strong and stay stoic.